Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Television, Radio, and Podcast Talk Show. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning 2 p.m. on the Eastern Time Zone as I get right home with you in the afternoon. It's always so much fun. I want to thank you so much again for sending email. It makes my day. Donna@donnasedge.com, Donna@donnasedge.com. Everybody wants to know, how can I find you? I can't always listen to you on television. But now if you listen to us on Abundant Television, that's found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And also in Alabama, North Alabama, channel 182 on Charter Communications. That's part of the Spectrum Network. Find us on the radio, and that's on Saturdays at 9 a.m. Classic Country 92.9, the biggest country station as far as I'm concerned in South Carolina. You can also find us on the newscasters.com, and another one I'm so excited about, that's yournews.com. And so we're going to be talking about that a little bit with Sam Anthony. But Sam, I got a quick question for you. What do you have against Tucker Carlson?
Nothing.
Okay, well, I've got proof you do.
Well, he had it coming. He opened his mouth a little too much.
Well, I'm going to show this video. I hope you're going to be okay with it. You're in the ring with him, and you're just beating the crap out of him. Okay, tell us about that story. How'd that come about?
So, I was sitting out with a friend the other night, and we were having a beer, and we were talking about Tucker Carlson, and he said, and I said something about, he needs his ass kicked. And he said, hold on a second. And he put up his phone and he said, look into the camera or into my camera for about 3 seconds, 4 seconds, whatever. And then he typed something in his phone and he set it down. And I said, what was that? He goes, you'll see. So about 5 minutes later, he picks up his phone and he goes, okay, it's done. And he hits play and played me that. And I said, how did you do that? He goes, Grok. He just told Grok a video of Sam knocking out Tucker Carlson. And that was it. And I thought, my God, this is where technology is heading. I
got to look at it again. Congratulations for beating him.
Hey, well, he had it coming. He started
it. He did. Let's talk a little bit about AI. I'll get it out in a minute. I kind of like it. I dig it. I have flyers that I'll have AI kind of do for me. But one thing is sometimes it doesn't look realistic. Now this looks realistic. But sometimes, they may put 5 fingers or 6 fingers on your hand, just different little things like that. So I've learned to just, when I type something in, to make a flyer for me, I say something like, but let it look like me. Don't take away from my features, because I don't want people to see me in public and go, that was you. I mean, I want it to look as realistic as possible. So, but what are your thoughts about AI?
Technology is advancing, I mean, is it going to put people, out of jobs? Yeah, but, there's been a lot of stuff through history that has put people out of jobs. I mean, and I know in New York, they're trying to stop AI from coming in there. And, and I'm thinking to myself, well,
I think they'll be embracing it.
Would you stop the wheel from being invented? I mean, like, where do you stop? So, all I can tell you is that, the world is changing. My thoughts on it are everything could be used for good or bad, right? I mean, and you're going to have some people using AI for bad, and you're going to have some people that are using it for good,
like everything.
Good reasons. What I do know is that because there's not a lot of jobs, you have a lot of people that are going to these creator-based platforms like on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube, and they're creating their own channels because this is how they're trying to make a living. They're becoming influencers, right? And then they're selling products. So your influencer, you could be somebody that does fashion in New York, or somebody that, does product placement, where you're talk about how this purse looks better. Maybe it's fashion with this dress or whatever it is. I mean, this is the good news about artificial intelligence when it comes to the business I'm in, is we're immune to it, because AI cannot write its own story. AI can only take somebody else's story and rewrite it. So when it comes to journalism, you need somebody on the ground reporting on it. Now, after that, they could take it, rewrite that story, but you need the boots on the ground. So because we have a creator-based model, the need for the journalist is never going to go away. It's immune.
I want to say something, though, to my friends in New York. Okay, you're rejecting this. I want you to think back, not that many decades ago, we didn't have cars. They had, like carriages and horses. There had to be a guy, his job was to pick up the poop. He was like the pooper scooper. Okay, I wonder what that guy thought when, oh my God, they're having cars. I won't have a job anymore. I mean, you have to think of those things.
It is. There's always been products. I mean, look, if you remember the videos of people working on the automobile plants building autos, right? And then machinery came in, robotics came in, and they replaced all the people. Same thing. I mean, it's just advancements in technology. And that's all AI is. It's just advancing technology so you could do things more cost effective, which means that a lot of people are going to lose their jobs. I mean, I have a friend of mine who's a doctor and he's retired, and he goes to Grok to look everything up. He goes to his phone and he asks Grok, and so now, like, even he loves to gamble, and he's like, so what is your pick on these games? What do you think are the top games, right? And it makes life better for him. I mean, my wife one day she was having some issues, and it was very complex. And I think it had something to do with, the hormone replacement treatments and all that stuff, and how it could affect specific things. And when you go to a doctor and you tell the doctor, here's the issues I'm having, the doctor doesn't have the ability to go onto the internet and read a billion different articles on that other doctors had done across the globe in 3 seconds and be able to come up with an answer. But Grok did. Grok went out and said, here's what, based on everything I've read, in like 3 seconds. Okay, like it searched the global, grabbed it all up, and here's the recommendation. And you know what? It was right. And that a human being can't do. So it's a tool that you could use to make things better, right?
Well, I probably shouldn't have a lot of zit since I'm a talk show host. So I did have something that came on my face the other day. Now I'm saying don't let this be a go all for everything. You've got cancer, don't depend on AI for that. But I had a zit, and I'm like, I've got to get rid of this like now. So I took a picture of it on my face. And so AI, ChatGPT, looked at it, and they said it was just some kind of have you been under pressure? Have you had, blah, blah, blah. And I'm getting ready for college classes and all this kind of stuff. And I said, yeah. And so all it was just something really simple. And I just put some, calendula, some of my own calendula cream on it that I harvest and made a salve out of it and got rid of it. So it's gone. But anyway, it's wonderful. I mean, I embrace it. Because I remember back in the day too, I'm a lot older than you are, but I definitely remember cell phones when they came out. I was working corporate for a company called Cellular One. They turned into GTE, now they're Verizon. So they've been changing hands for quite a few years. And so I had uncles and relatives. Your relatives are always going to be the first ones to beat up on you about anything you do in your life. So I had an uncle who came to me and said, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. You're going to make a career out of that. Selling phones when we went home, home phones and all this kind of stuff. And I said, yeah, that's what I'm going to do, because I could actually see ahead of something and he couldn't. And because it's great for business and for security, women out on the road by themselves and stuff like that was a wonderful thing. And that's what I told people, And so now you I'm sure you'd believe this. This same uncle won't be caught dead without his cell phone. And he was like bucking the system. I don't see that. I'm just not seeing it. But sometimes people can't see the forest for the trees, or maybe they don't want to see it. They're afraid they may lose their career.
There's a lot of people that can't see it, until it's right in your face, and that's okay. I mean, I
Fine.
wish that
Then I'll jump on it.
I wish I would have saw Bitcoin when it was in its early stages and said, I'm putting everything on Bitcoin. But I went, what the hell is that? It's crypto. What? How do you? It's unstable. I don't want anything to do with that. Boy, was I an idiot. So you can't recognize everything. There's some people that recognize it and see it. It works the same with Amazon. I looked at Amazon and I went, this is a bad idea. This guy's hemorrhaging hundreds of millions of dollars a year. He keeps going back to the well to raise more money because he can't get this thing profitable. He's selling books. Who cares? Okay. Well, guess what? I was wrong again. So you don't know. But, we called Grok Dr. Grok. I always say to her, did you ask Dr. Grok? I mean, it's smarter than any doctor is.
Really, and then sometimes you're wondering. Now, I have a wonderful doctor here in Abbeville, South Carolina, but I've had doctors before. I was wondering, are they really listening to me, or are they thinking about the next patient coming out, or are they thinking about bad news they had to give a customer or a patient right before me? So because I have, and you can tell, you can read those things, whether people are really listening or not.
You can, but they were probably thinking, oh crap, let me walk out of the room and ask Grok.
Well, this is before Grok. But I'm glad to see those things are happening. And I've got to say, like customer service issues, I no longer call a company and sit on hold forever when I can just go to ChatGPT and just ask, this product, what's wrong with this product? Why is it not working?
See? So it's already made your life better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, look,
I dig it.
In my world, we have a journalist that will take notes. We have it within our dashboard where you can actually you could put in the bullets and have AI write the story for you from in the dashboard. And once you get what you want, because some people write better than others, right? And, ChatGPT or Grok, can write a story AP style. And you just have to plug in, then you got to read it, say, no, it's not what I want. I'll give you an example. When you're raising capital, you have to have something they call a deck, right? It's like your investment pitch. And there are people that charge $50,000 to produce a deck for you. $50,000. Okay. ChatGPT did it for me. It took me the day because I would go back and say, no, I want this. And I go, no, remove that. What about this? So I took a day, maybe a half, whatever it was. And it spit out something that somebody I paid 50 grand couldn't have beat.
You know what I mean? Exactly. I had a flyer done once and you could see my hands in the flyer. And I just happened to catch it. It showed me having 6 fingers. Now, I did count my fingers just to make sure I wasn't the one wrong. And I was like, no, I don't have 6 fingers. So I said, take one of the fingers off. And then they took the thumb off. And I said, no, leave the thumb. I need 4 other fingers. And so Amazing. They did it right.
See that? See that? Yeah.
But had I designed that flyer, it would have taken me all day.
Why 6 fingers, though?
I don't know why it had 6 fingers on there. I don't have a clue for that. But it does that sometimes. And I wanted to say this. We're going to have to go into a break. The time really flies by when I've got you on the show. So I remember when Kamala Harris was running for president, and they were trying to say she had these huge crowds of people who were following her around all over the place. And she didn't. I graduated, when I graduated from high school, there were like 22 people in my graduating class. So probably 22 people were there. I'm just saying. But what they did, apparently this is the beginning stages of AI. So they had her, she was coming off of an airplane and there were looked like just thousands of people out there. But it was actually like the first row was like the same woman. And she had on like a hat on one, had blonde hair on one, had dark hair on one. And the same guy kept turning flips over and over again. But that was the early stages of AI. Now it's gotten so much better.
Yeah. Now
maybe Kamala will use that this time if she's going to run for president.
Oh, my God.
I'm missing the jokes because I'm going to tell you, Don Brown is an attorney in Charlotte, North Carolina, and he and I have been friends for a long time. He ran for office, U.S. Senate. And so he was on the show quite a bit, and we kind of had this little, it was called the Don and Donna show. And so I was forever making fun of cackling Kamala. I mean, just over and over again. So when she lost, I said, I'm disappointed about one thing that she did lose. And Don said, you got to be kidding me. you're sad she lost. And I said, no, I'm going to miss the joking around. I like taking fun of her. It was so much fun. But I may get another crack at it.
I would highly doubt it. I mean, I don't gamble a lot, but I would bet that there's no way that woman ever gets on the national stage again.
If I were betting, I'd say she does.
No, I would say it's going to be somebody completely different. I think Gavin Newsom has a much better chance.
Okay, let's just say this. We're going to place a bet on this.
Okay.
You got to give me a pack of chewing gum. If you win, I'll send you a pack of chewing gum. We'll do it that way. So that's good and clean. I'm going to say she's going to run. I don't think she has a snowball's chance, but I think she's going to run.
Well, is she going to be the nominee? Because that's what I'm thinking. I mean, you could have 20 people up there on the stage, but who's going to be the Democratic nominee to go up against the Republican?
Depends on how many people she has to give hush money to, or they have to give hush money to say she didn't sleep with them. I mean, that's what it's going to be about.
Where are they going to get the money? All the NGOs have been cut off.
They always seem to find it somehow. Out of the depths of hell, they find it.
The voter rolls are just being destroyed. I mean, I know one of the guys who's doing it. It's they're removing all all you have is the 6 blue states, right? That's all you really have. And if you clean those voter rolls up, you're probably going to lose half of them. Do you remember this photo? And the only way I could get it to you is to text it to you. But this photo, basically, and I'm going to have to go through my stuff just to see it, but I think, well, maybe that's it. I'm going to look real quick, Donna, and I know we're doing something here, but I think this is important. This right here. Look at what I just texted you. Okay, that's with fraud.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see.
Okay, that's with fraud. Imagine when most of the fraud is removed.
Mm-hmm.
And
so
what she's showing you is the red counties versus the blue, and the total counties won by Donald Trump in the last election, 86.72% versus 13.28 for Kamala Harris, and that was with fraud.
That was with cheating.
That was massive amounts of cheating. They couldn't, because there was such a groundswell. You would have had to basically have twice the amount of votes that Illinois voters had in order to win, right? But you have to just start getting into cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. They didn't have enough truckloads that they could bring in that would make any mathematical sense. And so now you got the money being removed. You have the voter rolls being cleaned up. And, that'll be a battle. But I think it's going to be even worse. I think it's going to go 97-3.
Sam, say we got to go into a commercial break.
Oh, we have to go on a commercial break right now, Donna. So I'd love to continue to have this conversation, but
we'll be right back in just a minute, guys, I promise.
Queen City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you.
Finding the right home isn't just about bedrooms and square footage. It's about comfort, security, and the feeling you get the moment you walk through the door. That's why so many families across Greenwood and the Lakelands area trust Jenny Ferguson with Keller Williams. And I'll tell you from personal experience, Jenny was my realtor, and she truly cares about her clients. Jenny takes the time to listen, to understand what matters most, and to guide you every step of the way, whether you're buying your first home, upgrading, or ready to sell. Because this isn't just a transaction, it's your life. With local knowledge, personal care, and a commitment to getting it right, Jenny Ferguson makes the process simple and even enjoyable. So if you're thinking about buying or selling, now's the time to make your move. Call Jenny Ferguson with Keller Williams in Greenwood today and take the next step toward a place you'll truly love coming home to. Shine your style at Kiss My Glass right here in the Anderson Mall. There's a place where style meets sparkle. At Kiss My Glass, every piece is handcrafted, custom designed, and made to shine just like you. Owner Beth Gibson brings creativity to life with stunning custom tumblers, gifts, and one-of-a-kind pieces you won't find anywhere else. Look for the perfect gift or something uniquely you, from bold and glamorous to simple and elegant. There's something for every style, so stop by, get inspired, and leave with something unforgettable. Kiss My Glass inside the Anderson Mall, Anderson, South Carolina, where your sparkle begins. Be sure to check out Kiss My Glass on Facebook for updates and specials and gift ideas. Good afternoon, Sunshine. Medical Minute brought to you by Dr. Chuck with Lakeland's Chiropractic, where an ounce of prevention is worth what? A pound of cure. So what is the Beamer? Okay, now the Beamer uses very gentle pulse to electromagnetic signals. This will stimulate healthy muscles and it supports the temporary blood flow. Now let's talk Beamer and circulation support. Now the Beamer gently supports natural circulation in healthy muscles. Now that's what I call natural health. Thank you so much for watching Your Medical Minute, brought to you by Dr. Chuck. You know who he's with. He's with Lakeland's Chiropractic, where an ounce of prevention is worth what? A pound of cure. I hope you have a super duper awesome rest of the afternoon. You take care.
Good afternoon, everybody. We are back. Thank you so much for watching Donna's Edge. I've got Sam Anthony with me right now. I still want to call you Sam Elliott for some reason. I don't know what my problem is, but I just always kind of like Sam Elliott.
That's okay.
But anyway,
I don't mind. You call me whatever you want.
I still love my husband, but anyway, Sam Elliott is close by. I'm just telling you that. Okay, so we were in a deep discussion, but before we get to this discussion, I got to look at this one more time. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yay! Hey, so we say we're not going to do this every time because it always puts us both in a nasty mood, but we're talking a little bit about politics right now. And we've got about 5.5 minutes left in this session right here.
Okay. I'm good with it. What would you like to talk about?
Well, the upcoming election. I want to know your thoughts about it. Everybody knows the Democrats. They have the same playbook. I mean, any football team could beat them if they were in football because they got the same playbook over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. But on the Republican side, what do you think is happening?
Donna, I think it's just more of the same. I mean, they're just waiting for Trump to get out of office so they can go back to stealing the rest of our money. I mean, yeah. I'm sorry, but I've come to the conclusion that after 50 years of never seeing anything get solved, there's a reason. And the reason is they have no interest in it. They've turned public service into a business model. And when you have senators that are congressmen that are worth 30, 40, 100, 200, 300 million dollars, that, you look at AOC, she went in, she had a negative net worth. She's worth probably 20 million right now. Mm-hmm. And that to me is a problem. And they don't want to give that up. So they're no longer called our representatives. They're now called our leaders. The media is backing them with that because they call them our leaders. So it makes it the norm. And as long as the status quo is here, they're not going to fix a thing. I mean, why is it that Doge had to go in and find all these problems? Why didn't they find this stuff out themselves? It's because somebody's making money. They didn't care. I mean, imagine if you have an HOA, a homeowners association, and the people that are running the HOA are taking loans against your own units, right? Your own home, and they're spending all your money for this. How long would it take you to get rid of them? But you can't get rid of these people. So I look at Congress as hospice, and everybody's there, and the only way you get rid of them is when they die. And I've gotten to the point now where, I understand what they want. They want to enrich themselves. their votes are worth money, and they sell out to the highest bidder. Now, keep in mind, it's not every one of them, but it's at least 80% of them. And that's a problem. Okay.
Well, let me ask you a question. 3.5 minutes left in this segment. John Kennedy. Okay. Senator John Kennedy. What are your thoughts about him? What if he ran for president?
I love him. All you got to do is just look at his net worth. And if his net worth has skyrocketed, I would hate him. But if he's actually there specifically to help the cause, that's what they need to be. But it shouldn't be a fight as to whether our money should be going over to Africa. Okay. It shouldn't be a fight as to whether we're shutting down the money that's being sent to people who haven't earned it. When you have people that are fighting to continue to pay people that are not even in this country and enrich them, I mean, it's over. Okay, it is. It needs the change. And they're not interested in making a change. So there's got to be something that happens. And if you don't do a revolution, which you're not going to have, the only way to solve this problem is through shedding the light on it. Okay. And the way you shed light on it is you have to expose it, and the media has to expose it. The issue we've been facing, which everybody knows, is the mainstream media is controlled by 6 institutions. Those are controlled by the powers to be. And so that's why everybody saw the Sinclair Broadcasting video, which had the 50 TV saying the same thing at the same time. So it's really just the top down, right? We live in a world that's centralized news, and they're pushing an agenda. And and we'll give you a perfect example, the Hunter Biden laptop. Why is it nobody talked about it? Okay? Why is it when Trump did his speech last week, all the mainstream media, or most of them, didn't even have it on? Why is that? It's because it doesn't fit an agenda. You would think that's news. And if the president really is, what? I'm
going to differ with you just a little bit. And this is on yourNews, okay? Because if I'm out in the real world, I've got boots on the ground. I see people are fed up with all that nonsense. They're looking for something else. Right. They're looking for the truth. They're tired of the same old, same old. They just don't want to speak up and say anything. But I think that they're ready to listen to alternatives. And I think that's what you got going on with yourNews.
Well, they do. And that's what's happening. Now, the good news is legacy media, I don't give them more than 4 or 5 years. All that stuff.
They're done. They're done.
Radio, TV, and print is all done. Everything's moving to creator-based platforms, Donna. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Rumble, it doesn't matter. They all have literally hundreds of millions of creators. And that hundreds of millions of people having channels on those platforms is what drives the audience, which is then supported by ad revenue. The void that hasn't been filled is local news. So this is where we have a hyper-local, creator-based platform where we can do news to a city, a county, a market, state, regional, or national. Donna, you know this. I have 6,150 news reporters and actually testing. So this thing has the ability for total PR firms, nonprofits, and then monetized news reporters, 6 million people, I think you'll have in the United States that are using this. So this is where it's all heading. What I do, make no mistake about it, will be the next mainstream media. Now, keep in mind, you could have Elon Musk create the same damn thing, and he'll beat me to it because, he's got resources. But the point is, it's all going to creator-based platforms. And this is what's going to solve it, because now there's no gatekeepers, Donna. If you find out in your local community that one of the
30 seconds,
one of the politicians is corrupt, you can actually write that story. And if you have proof on it, you could actually shed light on that in that community. Whereas if you had an editor, maybe they didn't want that run for a specific reason. And there's where we're going to fix the problem, because once you shed light on it, you can't put the genie back in the bottle. So.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sam, so much for being with me on the show today. And thank you guys so much for watching. It's always so much fun. Continue sending an email. Donna@donnasedge.com. Donna@donnasedge.com. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later.